Books are more than just empty vessels that contain information. The way they were made tells us not only about technology and fabrication, but it also tells us about the users, the people who read them. And so in a historical sense, it's an incredibly important set of insights into the cultural and intellectual and social history of the period that we're studying with students.
If you really want to understand the kinds of things that have shaped the human experience, they're never just of one type. They're never just physics, or chemistry, or history, or literature. There are going to be all those things put together. And this class has offered our students, I think, a very tangible example of those boundary crossings at work.
So there are three kinds of experiences that we have built into the syllabus for our students. The first is a typical set of discussions that we have in a history class. The second part of the class that we've built in is the contact with the historical material, going to the Rare Books Library, going to the MIT Museum and seeing the maps and engravings that are several hundred years old. The third part, if we think about this as mens et manus, hand and mind, is the hand part. And there what we've asked the students to do is work in the hobby shop to build a replica of an early modern printing press, and also to experiment with the manufacture of paper.
So in order to build the press, we needed to come up with an appropriate design. We had made the decision that it would be made out of wood. The wood itself was kind of interesting because we were reclaiming a timber from an old mill building in Clinton, Massachusetts. So it was all what's called longleaf hard pine. These are very large pieces of wood, 10 by 14s in cross-section. So the first thing that we did was to saw it up on the bandsaw and then surface it on the joiner and the thickness planer into the dimensions of the pieces that we wanted.
Most people here find it really exciting to not just get to learn about something, but to build it and to make it happen and to get to the point where there are problems with it and have to problem solve.
I very much see the value of having the students actually work with some craftsman's tools and to develop some appreciation for what it means to take a full beam, a log as it were, and turn it into pieces of wood that can be put together in a way that is stable enough to manage the pressure of actually dropping a heavy weight onto a platen so that an impression can be made. And until they actually try this themselves, I think it's very difficult for them to appreciate what's involved.
There are tremendous misconceptions about how things are made. And the good thing about this is you really take them through the whole process, and they really have an understanding after it's done of what's involved, as opposed to what you imagined was involved.
I think MIT students have an interest in preserving good forms of old technology and not just moving forward without looking back at what was good about the past. And being able to engage with history in the same way is really powerful for students here.
More and more of the students who come here have interests beyond the lab, beyond the virtual world, and are able to engage with some of the deepest and most profound questions in humanistic study. They are not only builders, but they're artists as well. It's this rounded student whom I knew would have a wonderful time with this class and whom I knew I would have a fantastic time teaching. And that's the way it's played out.